Hey, we're back. We've got our all-star panel this morning. We got a special guest, Dave, with us this morning. We got Bruce in the middle, and of course, our lovely Jane is here. Thank you for sharing Sycamore Crossing with us.
Anytime.
Sights and sounds of the city this morning. We got the train whistle. We got our
Assorted
we got
beer
our
trucks.
liquor delivery trucks. We haven't seen the Budweiser truck yet, but these are typical of what happens Thursday morning. I told everybody that we've got an
And
unbelievable.
this Friday.
Yeah.
You guys have been up here for a while. I shouldn't say this. What is your favorite time in the year? He's begging the question, I guess, for fall. But is that not?
Wow,
it's
you
fall,
hit it.
Fall's pretty
Fall
special,
is
isn't it?
fantastic.
Yeah, we got the Apple Festival for the next 2 weekends in Gilmer County. Right here in Blue Ridge, next weekend we've got Art in the Park, which is a phenomenal set of artists that come in from all over the southeast and set up their 2D and 3D artwork. We've got following week we've got Paws in the Park, and this year for the first time we'll have a big dive tank out there, and there's going to be a 2-day contest to where the dogs
Run?
they throw and they run and they measure the distance.
Oh.
It's going to be phenomenal.
They catch a frisbee.
Yeah, this thing travels
Some sort of
nationwide.
bait, whatever it is.
Where's that going to be?
It's going to be right in front of the old fire station, right in the park. So that'll be for 2 days, and I think that's 19 and 20 if that's Saturday and Sunday
Fun.
Of October?
of October. Is that correct? Yeah. Anyway,
Yeah.
nothing happening again this week that we can talk about, right?
Slow
Oh
week.
my God.
Very
Yeah.
slow.
Boring.
Yeah.
We've got. Let's see. We've got Iran, Syria. We got China to talk about.
We got the Whistleblower Academy.
We got the Whistleblower Academy. Yeah, the whistleblowers in training. We got we might as well kick it off with the rally last night. And let me just stop for 1 second. Brian is not with us today because he's with his family in the Lehigh Valley area of Pennsylvania. But he had a special day yesterday. Doug Collins, our own U.S. representative, visited the Lehigh Valley. They did a roundtable with some of the businesses there, which were, Brian said, just unbelievably entertaining and enlightening. There was a manufacturer there that was kind of leading the business roundtable, and they're a worldwide manufacturing of pumps. And he said since Trump has been in office, his business is up 20 to 25% both years. He also said that collectively, all of the business people that got together said that Trump is doing the right thing with China and keep the foot on the neck, regardless of the implications of the tariff. Anybody have any?
Well, yeah, if you think about the whole thing with China, everyone's been moaning about for decades is theft of intellectual property. And again, having done business in China, you know what they're finding out now with like this NBA thing. I mean, the Chinese dance to their own drum. And they feel they have been ignored and slighted by the rest of the world for centuries, and that they have a rightful role as a leading country of the world, if not the leading country. So a lot of things they do is always just geared to improving the standing of the ruling party in the eyes of the citizens. So whenever there's a kerfuffle about anything, Taiwan, oil, this tariff thing, they always go back to do not mess with our internal affairs. Stay out of our internal affairs. And their definition of internal affairs is very broad. So we have to remember, starting this thing with the intellectual property, to undo decades of inaction is not going to turn over or happen in like a couple of weeks.
Right.
So I agree.
Yeah, I think your comment on the foot on the neck is good because somebody had to start this. And as we all know, nobody except Trump has had the guts to get it started. Now,
Previous administrations talked a big
talked,
game.
but never did it. But here's where I see the problem. Problem number one is it looks like we may get a quasi deal that comes out of this.
Half a
That-
loaf.
yeah,
Half a loaf.
half a loaf, which really isn't going to address the intellectual property issue.
Probably
It'll
not.
be some other minor stuff. And the reason for that is the second reason. The Chinese have a whole different view of time. They
Time is on their side.
time is on their side.
right.
Well, I mean, we look at getting it done in 3 months, quarterly profits. I mean, you know, it's now, 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 now. The Chinese don't look at it that way.
Well, that's why, Jane, they've been talking about, do the Chinese really want to sit back and just wait and see what happens with the 2020 election? And will they have some patsy in there now that may be able to beat Trump? And will that person be as strong at the helm?
Well, China has thousands of years. I mean, literally, they look at it like if it doesn't happen this 10 years, it'll happen next 10 years. But the caveat about all this, no one's done anything. They've just been talking in the past administrations. I think the truth of the matter is, even with Clinton, you know, that he was talking about it, but then he was then selling stuff to the Chinese. So they weren't really trying to do anything
No.
about that problem. They were aiding and abetting the Chinese and getting as much as they could. And you want to say, why are they doing that? Why would they even do that? And in my mind, it's all because they want the world order, the one world order. They want to be top of the heap.
They want to
but
be
it
top of the
gets
heap if
to
we-
the world order.
Right, right.
Yeah, I mean,
You know, and Obama played pinky toes with China too.
Pinky toes.
You know,
pinky toes.
so they were all
Yeah,
just.
that's right.
you
I love
know.
that.
I don't paint my toes.
Does it not seem a little disingenuous to you when you look at the NBA and their social, their social, when they call out social injustice in the U.S. But then all of a sudden, if their feet are to the fire because they had somebody in Houston, one of their general managers, say support Hong Kong, and China all of a sudden cuts off the water. I mean, you know, where's the quid pro quo there?
Yeah, the Democrats and a lot of these businesses are hypocritical. I mean, they want to be in that market. You know, it's like 1.4 billion mouths to, you know, take your product or wear your shirt or wear your shoes, and they're all in it for the money. And that's been an approach for 30 years to China, for U.S. and other foreign companies investing there. They want to get access to that market, so they will, you know, flush all their values down the toilet just to get in that market and get a foothold.
So they'll overlook the human rights violations
Oh, sure.
for profits.
Well, you're seeing,
That's been going on for a long time.
Exactly.
The NBA gets 10% of their revenues from China.
Right.
So, you know, it's a significant
The
issue
number
for
that
them.
I heard was like $4 billion.
yeah, it's a big number.
You know, flows to the NBA through China, and they've set up all these NBA China franchises that are selling for big money.
They said a lot of their games, they're broadcast like 300 million homes, 300 million people.
They
I'm
love
watching-
basketball.
Yeah,
They love
yeah,
it.
they do. And particularly since they had that Yao Ming guy play
So
for a
good for
while.
the general manager. I think it was Houston. What's the team?
Houston, yeah, his name, I
Houston
got it right
Rockets.
here. His
Houston
name
Rockets.
was
That's right. Good
Daryl
for him for
Morey.
speaking
Daryl
out.
Morey.
Yeah,
Good for
Yeah.
him.
yeah. But what you're seeing in Hong Kong is going to be a precursor to what happens with Taiwan.
Yeah, he said, "Fight for freedom, stand with Hong Kong."
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
whoo-wee, that was a firestorm.
Yeah, I mean, it is pretty mild, actually. But the Chinese are very, very thin-skinned about things with their sovereignty and what they're trying to do. And going back to these administrations, Bush, Clinton, Obama, yeah, while we've been asleep at the wheel, they've been, you know, building bases in the South China Sea. They had the Philippines and Vietnam pissed off at them. So, I mean, they're
Sending
really
them
kind of flexing their
information,
muscles.
Turning the other way. Letting, who's the Feinstein have a Chinese spy for 20 years and probably knew it all the time.
Oh, I don't know.
Remember that?
Yeah.
Her
Yeah,
driver?
Feinstein did.
Yeah.
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 You don't think she didn't know that?
I think they know a lot more than we give them,
Yeah, right.
than we talk about. Let's go all the way back to what we started about before, and talk about the rally last night. I mean,
It was fabulous.
what was your favorite part?
Well, I would think, okay, that he can't top that, and then he would top that, and I would say,
You and I were
can't
texting
believe
la-
he said that.
You and I were texting last night, and then all of a sudden we hear The only reason Biden was a good VP is because he walked around kissing Obama's ass.
learned
He
how
knew
to-
how
And
to
all of a
kiss
sudden- and all of a
Barack
sudden,
Obama's
Jane
ass.
goes, "Oh my God!" And I'm back with her. Oh my God!
You see the people behind him, they looked at each other.
Yeah. Those two little girls were. It was one of those priceless moments.
Oh, he said.
You know,
it
he
all.
always does something. He always does a sound bite that will have repercussions down the road. That's what makes him such a, just a phenomenal figure. Notwithstanding the fact that I think he's a terrific president, but he knows how to control the news cycle.
He knows how to to put things in their heads. He was saying, we're going to win Minnesota. We're going
that's
to win it. We're going to, and he just leaves it like, yes, we are, and I think they probably will.
Yeah.
The way
That's the largest mobilization effort this early in a campaign.
oh, he's going to do it.
I mean, they've got so many people on the ground there in Minnesota. It's unbelievable.
Here's who I was thinking of: the person who operates his teleprompter, because he went off message.
That's right.
Most of the time, and he even said, "Don't y'all love it more when I'm off message?" and so I'm thinking, but then he would pick up, and he would then get back to his notes, and I'm thinking, this person doesn't know where he wants to be or where he's going. That must be a tough job.
Rush has talked about Dave.
Russia talked about Dave?
Dave, comma.
I am
Rush
not
has,
involved. Not involved.
Rush has spoken about his ability to go an hour and a half, an hour and 45 minutes. And, Rush is so self-involved that he'll say, "I'm the only one that can control the news media for keep your attention for 3 hours." But
With one hand.
but he describes it so beautifully, because what he does is he takes you see him in segments, and right in the middle, to grab the attention back of the audience, he will point out all of the people that have come to listen, and all of the muckety mucks in Minnesota were recognized. Tom Cotton from Arkansas was there, who is a
fabulous guy.
great patriot, if you will.
And you never miss.
Let's get back to the Democratic
Please.
Event last night with all the LGBTQ.
Didn't
I had to
know
look up Q. I wasn't sure what Q was.
Queer.
Well, it actually can mean queer, but which used to be a bad term, and now it's coming back. It's going to be accepted again.
Right.
But it can also mean questioning, which means you don't really even know what you are.
Right.
So,
Right.
That should be a C for confused.
Yeah. But
Are you referring to the event that was in California?
the CNN event where they
Fredo.
They
Last
had
night?
was it called
Fredo Como.
Yeah.
Oh, Chris Cuomo.
There were 4 interviewers, and they interviewed each one of the Democratic candidates, and they interviewed them having to do with their stand on the LGBTQ community. So it was pretty interesting to hear each candidate have a half hour to talk about what their
Half an hour.
Yeah, their
But
views
they only
on
had
it.
4. Who was there?
Oh, they did all 9.
Oh, they did.
Yeah, all 9. It's-
Holy
it was
cow!
one of those all-day
so
things?
it was one of these evenings that went from like 8 o'clock till midnight. I mean, it was
geez.
long.
I'm
Oh
interested.
my God.
I'm interested to
That's
see how
cruel
the
and
ratings
unusual punishment.
Yes,
compare.
it was. And of course, the entire audience was LGBTQ members, and
Right.
they asked the candidates, the Democratic candidates, what their views were on how to improve their community standing, in the United States. So it was very interesting to hear the candidates. Although all of the candidates, every one of the Democratic candidates, were very, very, very strong supporters of the LGBTQ community, wanting to change, Supreme Court rulings and laws and privileges and et cetera, et cetera. So there were some very interesting comments made that went viral last night by Elizabeth Warren.
Really?
No
Yeah.
joke.
What'd she do
Gotta
now?
Lay us on,
Yeah,
lay one
so
on us here.
the best one I thought was somebody in the audience stood up and asked her the question of what would she say to someone whose religion is telling them that homosexuality is wrong and it's not permissible under God for a same-sex marriage.
How did she respond?
Well, her response was kind of interesting. She said, "Well,
I got some siren competition here, so
Yeah.
I'm assuming that the person asking the question is male, and my response to him would be, if he can find a woman who would marry him, go ahead and do it." And that's what went viral.
Elizabeth
So,
Warren said that?
yeah. So
If you could find a woman that would marry.
yeah, in other words, the guy obviously probably couldn't find somebody that would take him on.
oh my goodness.
Loser.
Yeah, right.
Is it unfair to say that we are catering to a few at the peril of the majority?
Yes.
I would say that, definitely, yeah.
Are you kidding?
Now,
I mean, they're a very vocal minority. There's
Yeah,
no question
they
about
are.
it. But, yeah, I mean, the old majority rule things or, doing things for the greater good of everyone, that's sort of lost. It has to be very, very specific now. So we're getting into this, people have used the word tribes. We're into our own little, tribal things where we're all sharing the same values, more or less. And I think that works against what this country was founded on.
is that why we've got protesters outside the Target Center last night that are there just to try to disrupt?
Exactly. I mean, they believe strongly enough that they wanted to go there and create some chaos.
You would think that Mayor Fry,
Yeah.
the one that was trying to impose all of the $500,000 security tab on the event last night.
Yeah. The police officers couldn't wear
Wouldn't
their
you-
uniforms.
Right. Wouldn't you think that he would look around and say, "Oh my gosh, this is what I represent, and this is what Trump represents"? You got 20,000 people inside the Target Center. Reportedly, another 25,000 that have gotten tickets and were outside. And then you've got this fringe group. I'm hopeful that I'm couching it correctly. A fringe group that wants to take and they literally, according to reports, were throwing urine on people, pepper spraying them, and they were physically attacking the crowd that was coming out of the event, stealing hats, burning MAGA hats. What is that deal?
No,
I texted.
no excuse for it.
I texted my grandchildren. We have 7. One of them is 10 and doesn't talk much about this, but the other ones, I have 4 conservatives and 2 LGBTQRS ABCD. That.
Alphabet.
So the 2 that are the most liberal, they really don't like to have any discussions around the table or anything. So I texted them all, wondering if I was going to get a response.
Group text.
Group text, and I said, "Children,
Listen up.
think about this. You've got people in Hong Kong fighting and maybe even giving their lives for democracy and freedom. And over here tonight, you've got American socialists fighting for socialism. Now, the thing is, the people in Hong Kong have lived socialism. They've tasted freedom, and they want freedom. Over here,
You got freedom.
we've never lived socialism. They think they want it. They've never lived it. They don't think they know. They don't know anything about it, and they're fighting to bring socialism in to a democracy and a free country. I said, you guys have to think about that, really. And you are the future, and you can't just go on some tangent because you think it's cool. You've got to sit down and think. And I hope
And
they
that group
do.
believes that, it's perfectly fine to have people who want to come here just come. The whole
Yeah.
border issue. I mean, it's like, Well, it's a human value
Yeah.
that they would want to come to a country where they can improve their economic
Right.
situation.
And I wonder
It's
how many of
it's
those
a right.
how many of those people have jobs. I mean, when your kids get a job the first time, they take this chunk out for taxes, and they go, "What is this?"
Yeah.
And well, there you go.
Welcome to the real
Yeah,
world.
they're
Huh?
But then they
change
get all
them a
upset
little
that like a
bit.
chunk of that's going to the army. You know, they're going to the military and they're
Yeah.
spending it on foreign wars and all that, and that aggravates a certain
It
segment
does.
of the
But
population.
they have no clue, really.
No, they don't.
And that's the sad part.
But you know,
But they have power over here.
how many 14-year-olds do have a clue?
That's the problem.
Oh,
Yeah.
you're going
Yeah.
to get yourself in trouble with the 14-year-olds out
Yeah,
there.
but these are
All right.
22-year-olds.
Yeah,
The oldest grandchild. is-
college educated.
Yeah, and at Cornell, there's no dummies. But they.
Big red.
Well, you know what PhD stands for?
Oh, I can't wait.
Piled higher and deeper.
Yeah,
For
PSMS.
sure.
Bullshit, more shit, piled higher and deeper.
Oh man,
Hello. Have you
Sorry,
had your
Brian.
breakfast
Sorry,
yet?
Brian.
he's trying to outdo you, Trump.
That's a quote from my father.
Yeah, that's right.
Yep.
What, let's turn the corner a little bit. We watched Trump last night. He did a great job. It's it's a little bit more of the same, but
It was better of the
but you
same.
like the enthusiasm and you like it right in Ilhan Omar's territory, don't you?
In her face.
In her
too.
face, yeah,
What are you guys thinking?
exactly. Yeah. What did you do here? Anyway, there's let's see, the latest with Turkey, Syria, and the U.S. standing by the Kurd allies. What say you guys about? I mean, I totally am sympathetic with the way Trump comes out and said we got to stop the unending wars. We've got to quit funding the war machine. We've got to quit taking American lives and the deaths, the carnage. Then there's the other side about, geez, we really should be protecting these people who are going to get slaughtered again.
And they are. There are hundreds have already
Yeah.
been killed.
Yes.
It's a sticky situation.
I don't think there's any answers, unfortunately. I mean, let's face it. It's not dissimilar to what's been going on for decades in Afghanistan.
Centuries.
You just. I'm not a globalist, but I'm also not somebody who believes that we need to be an isolationist country. 'Cause
Right.
The world is global now. It's global.
Well, we are a superpower, and we
And
do have.
We
I
have
do
res-
think
and
that we
causes responsibility.
exactly.
There's no doubt about it. But there are some things you just can't
Dude.
do.
My-
And I agree with pulling our troops back out of there, but it's going to cause pain for somebody, and it's going to be the Kurds that are going to pay the price.
Yeah.
But
Yeah.
war.
Unfortunately.
now, these wars that aren't wars. Back in World War II and World War I, we had us against the Germans, let's say. You had a German over there who had families. I don't want to get into that when you see that. You had us. We fought each other. Now you've got it, what do they call it? Green on blue. You don't know who your enemy is. You have people you're training that say they're a Kurd, but then you give them a gun, turn around, they shoot you in the back. It's people on your side. So that adds a lot. There's a lot of that goes on. So we're over there, and if it's your son, I mean, think about it. If it's your son or your brother, and they're in that kind of danger trying to save these people, and it's been going on for 200 years, do you think we're going to stop it?
Or change it.
We're not going to change it, and we're not going to stop it.
Yeah.
And we've tried, and we've given. If you saw that wall, that was Vietnam, of course, but you could build one for this one. It takes your breath away, and I'm ready to
And
bring them home.
it shouldn't be us, only us.
Right.
Right.
For the most part, it is America that plays the major role.
Well, I mean, Trump has been pushing for more NATO
Absolutely.
support, more support from some of the other countries that don't lend any support, don't make the contributions that they've agreed to the worldwide organization. So, I mean, I think this is,
It's a no-win situation.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Exactly.
there's situations where we're in it, as he said. I mean, it's not really a war you're going to win. It's a policing action.
Yeah.
right.
You know, you're trying to train the people up and transfer democratic values to them, but as we've seen in Iraq, I mean, you get the different religious tribes,
Yeah.
and they keep fighting each other. You walk away, and they go back to fighting each other. So it's sticky.
It's a tough situation.
Yeah, feel for the Kurds.
What when we're going to take a short break here, and when we come back, I'd like to kind of switch over and talk about the Bidens and the whistleblowers and that whole situation. So
Okay.
anyway, Chris, take us to break for a few minutes, and we'll be right back.
Ace is your helpful place for paint and home goods, tools, outdoor living, and lawn equipment. But did you know Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge is a little bit more? We have hunting rifles and accessories for your next hunting trip. We have Amish furniture imported directly from Ohio. And we have Ace Custom Woodworks for all your custom wood project needs, from cabinets to artwork. Ace Hardware of Blue Ridge. We have your new house in stock.
Hello, my name is Chad Watkins. I'm the manager at Larry's Body Shop. We are a family-owned and operated business and have been serving the North Georgia area since 1978. We are located at 1216 Progress Road in LOJ, Georgia. Our shop specializes in collision repair, and we work with all major insurance companies. Larry's Body Shop is ICAR Gold, the highest role of training recognized by the collision repair industry. It is estimated that only 10% of collision shops meet these standards. Our shop consists of state-of-the-art equipment such as laser measurement system, down-drive spray booth, spot and MIG welding equipment. All of our paints are mixed on site so that we can guarantee your paint to match every time. I know that having an accident can be a stressful event. We take pride in making sure our customers are satisfied with the repair of their vehicles. Our waiting area is clean and comfortable with free Wi-Fi and refreshing beverages. So if you're in an accident, stop by and see us at Larry's Body Shop.
Do you feel like healthcare has become too impersonal?
8 times an hour, I'll get you in, I'll get you out.
At Lifetime Medical Center, you're more than a number. We get to know you, not just your medical issues. Dr. Alana Kent is board certified in family practice and offers same-day appointments. She and her staff treat conditions from minor to chronic issues. Lifetime Medical Center, convenient to Jasper and Blue Ridge.
This may sting a little.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Hey, we're back. We are back with the All-Star panel. We've got a special guest. Dave is here this morning. We got our regulars, Bruce and Jane, with us.
Beautiful, Jane.
Red, white, and
No,
blue.
yes,
Red,
That's
white,
nice.
and blue.
Yes, I'm very patriotic. That rally last night, I could hardly sleep.
Got you pumped.
Man, I was pumped.
I didn't see the after.
was
I didn't see
pumped.
the after show with who was it? Jason Shavitz.
Yes, I did.
You did. Was he anything relevant to say?
Well, they were just talking about the crowd and what the crowd was doing most of the time.
Didn't they also? I mean, it came up
I
today.
was real sleepy, and I had 2 glasses of wine.
Did they talk about the whistleblower at all, and his relationship to the candidates?
Not that I remember.
Well, the was it the Washington
was-
Post has come out with a report
Yeah.
that the whistleblower was in the White House and worked with
They
Trump.
did talk about that in the.
So
Stream of
answer me
time.
this. Why don't we know the name of the whistleblower? In normal whistleblower cases, the whistleblower is acknowledged.
See, and this shouldn't even be a
They need to
whistleblower.
be
He's a leaker.
protected.
He
Yeah.
or she's a leaker, not a whistleblower.
Yeah.
Right.
Because the whistleblower statutes work for the intelligence community. The president of the United States is not in the intelligence community, so it's disingenuous to start with. But supposedly the whistleblower is working with the Biden, or worked for the Biden campaign.
Worked in the Biden
Flew on the
administration.
planes with Biden.
Okay.
Yeah, was on at least 2 trips over to Ukraine, 2 of the 6 trips that Biden made over to the Ukraine.
Okay.
Has anybody ever heard of the term, which is used by the CIA a lot? It's called a feedback loop.
Heard of it in audio and TV, but not.
Yeah,
Yeah.
there's a feedback loop is what the CIA uses to set something up and reinforce it. So we've heard that there were potentially a second whistleblower.
Because
Okay.
The first one flopped.
Okay, the feedback loop would suggest that the second whistleblower, who had firsthand knowledge, was actually the whistleblower. He was the one that he or she was the one that provided the current whistleblower, the one that's on record,
Heard everything.
and then the other
Heard it
one
from the
Heard-
first
heard it
whistleblower,
from
the
the
second
first-
whistleblower.
So the
Yeah,
actual,
right,
the
that's what it's
second
done.
one was really the first one, and the first one is the second one.
That's
And
what's
what they do is they
LGBTQRT.
use this feedback loop. The other one comes out to substantiate the same story.
I mean, they got a football play like that?
They
actually
absolutely,
do it
they
on
absolutely.
purpose?
Sounds like telephone. Let me tell you.
That's right, yeah. And when it gets to me, it's something totally gobbledygook. But there is a theory out there that this was all contrived
Yeah,
by
yeah.
these 2
Schiff
CIA
wrote the
operatives,
darn thing.
and they absolutely knew how to perpetrate this thing and
When to
cause
say what.
right and cause all of this consternation and gnashing of teeth. What they didn't expect, in my mind, was that Trump would come out so quickly and just say, "Here it is.
Beautiful.
Here's the transcript,"
Yeah, and in fact, if
Beautiful.
you read the transcript,
which
I did.
which we all did, I
Completely.
blich.
Right.
I don't see the issue. I just don't see the issue. And
Where's the beef?
Yeah, where's the beef? If I was aware that Biden's son, who has a history of drug abuse, who's had some personal problems, who all of a
Dishonorably
sudden
discharged.
was dishonorably discharged from the service, and all of a sudden was receiving a board position on the largest gas producer in the Ukraine, getting paid $50,000 per
Or more.
month
More than that.
or more, I would question how that all kind of came about. I mean, I think anybody reasonably
Yeah.
would say, how does that happen? You know, and
It comes out of the Navy,
And it
dishonorably
happens-
discharged,
yeah, I
and
mean-
then bam, gets a
Right. You
job
You can't
like
even
that.
get a job here if you're
I
dishonorable.
mean, it's almost like Chelsea Clinton, going into
And so-
the broadcast world.
right. So when for $900,000,
Yeah,
Yeah.
exactly.
You hit it.
yeah, that's a nice salary. What do we get paid?
Yeah, exactly.
Brian,
All right.
we got a question on the bench.
So I read that.
Where are my
trans-
residuals?
I read that transcript and I just didn't see the issue. So a lot of this, I believe, is totally made up for truly no more than a political reason.
It's all innuendo. They're just pushing innuendo. Like, oh, well, he really meant this. Well, he didn't say that, so move on.
I don't know how
And the
they.
Ukrainian president has come out and said, no, there was no pressure.
Yeah, period.
Yeah, but they won't let go of it. And as we talk, Whistleblower Academy, they probably have 3 or 4 others lined up. If
Oh,
not
they
Ukraine,
got
we're going to
something
lurch on
stupid.
to the next issue.
But y'all, what's got to be said is we have this, what you just described. I don't really see anything. Then we got Biden on the stage blackmailing Ukraine. If you don't fire this guy, I mean, talk about quid pro. That was plain and simple.
And on the record.
A blackmail, and on the record, he was bragging about it. But
not
that,
gone in 6
that
hours,
is
you're not getting your
That
money.
is not mentioned. How can we be quibbling over, well, we're going to send you some, we'll let you buy some planes, and can you help me out? With what you're
You
saying.
really know why. The
What-
Ministry of Propaganda is
But
not
the
going to let
people,
that happen.
how can people be so to let that go?
Low info voters.
We're getting into
Low
the other
info.
dimension.
Let me quote my father again.
Okay.
Yeah, he used to say 90% of people never think.
Never think?
Never think. 9% think they think, but only 1% think.
That's pretty interesting.
Perfect.
Oh, we put ourselves in a very small category.
That's right.
Oh, the 1%.
God, I hope I'm in the 1% category.
Oh, we
Good
are
night.
in the 1%.
Oh, me. Jane, I'm going to read you something, and I want to know if you've heard it before.
All right.
May I?
You may.
Okay. For God hath not given us the spirit of fear, but of power and of love and of a sound mind.
I the spy.
Ah, you got it. Isn't that right?
That's right.
Tell us about that real quickly.
In what way?
84,000 followers
Oh, I the spy.
on Twitter.
I the spy knows somebody or is somebody. I think he is somebody and he knows a lot of people. And he's kind of taken the spot from Q because Q can't communicate. And so, but
This is all conspiracy theory
yeah.
now.
Nope, I don't like that word.
No, it's not conspiracy theory. It's factual. The
So,
guy,
remember-
guy does have
Is that the
84,000.
Q on Star Trek?
Could be.
Good. No.
Could be.
Oh, gosh. So the thing is that last week, remember, I predicted that Hillary and Bill and did I say Biden? They're going to be indicted. They're going to be indicted, and I think they may go to jail. Everyone thinks that's not true, but I think it is because I the spy thinks it is. Now another thing you have to look at is the Battle of Zama.
Battle of Zama occurred on the 18th.
The 19th of October, because I the spy's talking about the eve.
The
of
eve,
the
you're right,
battle.
which is the 18th.
Hello.
Guess what's happening on the 18th?
A big thing. So everyone just watch.
It's the Horowitz report's coming out, the FISA abuse report.
Is that the date it's supposed to come
Yep.
out?
Yeah. Yeah.
Well, I'm telling you, y'all have got to get into this to have a little more fun.
Oh, can we get some Twilight Zone music?
Yeah,
No, we need the Star
that's
Spangled
right.
Banner.
Yeah, we need Rod Serling here going, there is the eye of the spy.
It's fun though. I mean, it really is.
Oh, I'm telling you. Let's see. What didn't we touch on? Anybody else got anything that they would really like to talk about tonight? How about Trey Gowdy jumping in with the Prez?
What's the deal with him? Why
I-
did he retire?
I got a
Why
theory.
do y'all think he retired?
I got a theory.
I don't. Tell me one.
Well, does anybody else have a theory on Trey Gowdy?
No, go with it.
Trey Gowdy was appointed, he was hired of council. I have a feeling that is a backstop for the White House, specifically the president, in case there is a hearing, a trial in the Senate, if it gets that far. The impeachment, that is. If the House votes to impeach, it then goes over to the Senate where they conduct a trial. I think they brought Trey Gowdy in to act as chief counsel representing the president in an impeachment proceeding. That's my theory. The guy is brilliant. He's never lost but one case.
We did lose one.
Yeah, and that was against, and that was when he went after Benghazi. He went after Hillary and her crooked Benghazi
Was that a
theories.
real case?
It wasn't a real
He
case.
didn't get her
No,
indicted.
no.
Listen, why did he retire from the Senate? Why did he retire? It surprised me, and I'm thinking, I hope he's not tied up in these scandals that everyone's talking about. And then our other guy that's retired, that's on Fox all the time. My brain, last
Jason
night.
Chaffetz?
Yeah, Jason. He just kind of poof. That's worrisome to me. I don't know. I don't know if they were threatened, really seriously threatened. I don't know.
I don't either, but
crazy.
I think it's interesting that he's on there. They're also saying that Rosenstein is now a Durham target. Durham, John Durham has expanded his report literally internationally, and they say that the focus now is on Rosenstein. So we'll have to see about that. Dave, tell us about. Bill gave you a really unbelievable intro. Dave, at one time, was a practicing physician.
Correct.
Correct.
Family doc.
Family doc, and then you kind of took a little turn to get on the business side of medicine. Is that count?
Yeah, that's true. I was actually the first physician in East Cobb County in Atlanta, and it was the fastest growing zip code for 3 years in a row in the
30067.
It's 3006768. Yeah, fastest growing zip code, and my practice just exploded. Doing everything from delivering babies to nursing home, working out at the old Kennestone Hospital, which is now Wellstar.
Great hospital.
And managed care was new. Everybody paid by
It was
cash
an evolving-
or check. And when I started, and when managed care came in, I saw things changing, and there were about 5 of us that got together and started what was then called the Northwest Physicians Group. We merged 60 practices under one tax ID number, basically sold that practice to Kennestone Hospital, developed what eventually became Promina in Atlanta, which was an organization of all the hospitals in Atlanta with the exception of Emory and Northside.
Right.
Every other hospital formed an HMO, a PPO, an insurance company, went head-to-head against the United, Cignas, Aetnas of the world, and got our asses kicked. So the whole thing imploded. And out of that came Wellstar, basically.
Which is a good.
But I left Wellstar after I got my MBA during that time at Emory, and went over to the dark side. And I was Aetna's medical director for the Southeast.
Oh.
So
you've seen the insurance side, you've seen the medical side. Well, you brought a pretty broad perspective then to the table.
I left Aetna actually to become an insurance broker and was a principal in a benefit brokerage firm. And later our firm was purchased by Marsh and McClellan, which is the largest healthcare insurance consultancy in the world.
Where do you think, based on your background, your history, where do you see healthcare evolving to? You see the panel of 9 come out and say Medicare for all. One stop.
Yeah, you hear this argument that we should have national health care, and we are given examples of what they do in Canada and what they do in some of the European nations, Sweden, right? But what they don't tell you is that Sweden, Canada are so small compared to the population of the 300 million we have here in the United States that same system operationally would be a disaster if we tried to move towards a universal health care system run by the government. We know how well the government runs things.
I don't know why they haven't called you to just
So,
tell them how to do it.
you know, that's the first thing why Medicare for all, which is basically national health insurance, isn't going to work. So you're going to have a hybrid system here in the United States for it to be operationally
Sound.
sound. But the system we currently have is just totally screwed up. It's really...
Was that as a result of Obamacare?
No, actually, I think Obamacare did a lot of good things.
You do.
Yeah, I do. I think that, while I don't believe that the government should be running health care, I do believe that there's a certain level of service that everybody ought to have access to. I do believe that pre-existing conditions shouldn't be a qualification for insurance. I do believe that...
But on that
some of
point,
those-
if I can interrupt, I mean, if you have pre-existing conditions, in terms of what you pay for insurance, can that be a tier higher than a person who's in good health? Or
Yes.
you got to smooth that curve?
Yes and no, but you have to drive some personal responsibility into the system. And if you don't do that,
with that.
Yeah,
then
do.
then you're going to have people just sit back and
Yeah.
Take.
Fat, dumb, and happy.
yeah, fat, dumb,
So
and
do you
happy.
think
And
that's
sick.
going to happen? Do you think there's
You know,
a
I used to
light
think
at
that
the end of the tunnel?
this would have happened by now.
Yeah?
And I've become much more of a skeptic, to be honest. I think it'll be at least a decade before we move towards any type of universal health care in this country.
If you could rule the world and rule the world of healthcare, what magic pill would you say would fit our need overall? If you were able to take and design a system that, in your mind's eye, based on your past experience, would work for everything, including pre-existing condition, is there one model out there?
I don't think there's one model out there that you could reference, but the first thing I would do, if I was God, right, and this would take almost a divine intervention, would be to somehow simplify the electronic medical record mess that we have in this country. 52% of all physicians are totally burned out, and the number one reason they are burned out on being docs is because of the mess we have with
entry.
electronic medical
Crazy.
record systems and the need to document just about everything that you do
Everything's got
to
a
get
code.
paid. All right,
You get the
it's a
code
mess.
wrong,
It's a real mess. Multiple systems, no consistency, and that's what's. You got to have doctors. You got to have clinicians if you're going to have good health care. And if we don't solve that problem, we're not going to have anybody to take care of us.
Well, interesting. We usually do a segment on winners and losers, and I know I didn't kind of brief you on this, so I'll go to Jane and Bruce for our winners and losers before we bring on Jesse Barton. Bruce,
Oh,
got
I
air
thought you were going to
balls?
Jane first.
Well, I got a loser.
Talk to me.
I got two losers, and their last names both start with a B.
Okay. Is the second letter an I?
It is. Two big losers.
I'll take. Can I buy another vowel? Can I have an E?
You can. Woo! And you know, I think the winner. There's one winner, and then there's a conglomerative winner. Trump was the winner, and those people in that auditorium, all of them,
They were on fire.
they were on fire. I mean, I was.
They did have a few protesters they dragged out.
They did, but he made such a good thing of it.
Oh, yeah.
It was exhilarating. I've seen a lot of those things, but those people are hyped up, and he was on target.
Yeah.
Did you get a thrill go up your leg?
Oh! Oh my gosh, does that make me ill to think about that? But a little tear did go down my eye.
I saw you texting me that. Okay, here comes
when
my
it was
tear.
talking about the, bringing them home.
The soldiers.
I'm telling
Yeah.
you, I get really. So last night was a good night for me.
Good.
Good. Okay,
Bruce.
I do air balls and home runs. I hate
She
this,
doesn't like winners.
I hate this hit and miss stuff, or whatever. Anyway, my air ball. California residents are like going through kind of shock therapy now. Their gas prices are approaching $5 a gallon.
Really?
Yes. That's because of upheaval in the market when all the stuff that was going on in the Mideast, and then 3 of the refineries in California are down for maintenance turnarounds and things like that. So that's bad.
Good plan.
And the other thing with PG&E going through rolling brownouts,
Oh,
they're
geez.
shutting down the electricity in certain parts of the area because they've had these fires and they're worried about the liability. Well, all the people who have solar panels have learned to their distress that they can't get any power from. They don't work because they're tied to the grid. And the grid shuts down, it doesn't work. It doesn't do anything for your house unless you happen to be one of the very wealthy people who's bought batteries.
Of course.
No.
Or you could get a lot of people
Yeah.
Yeah.
on the wind power. Just get all your neighbors over
Yeah.
while you take a bath.
And my home run are the new Biden election campaign hats. It's KBOA. Kiss Barack Obama's.
I bet you can think of winners and losers,
I'll tell
Dave.
you.
Let it go too.
Listen, the only reason I'm here is because of the second beer we had last night during Trivial Pursuit.
Which
I'm
we
not-
won.
Which we did win. So I'm not prepared, but I do have a winner. You guys are the winners today.
Oh,
so
thank you.
All right.
sweet.
It's a great show. This was a lot of fun for me. And the loser is sitting right here.
No.
If I would have known this was going to be live, I would have worn my bow tie. 'Cause that's the way I normally show up.
Well, you've got to come back. It's fun. And
Yeah,
sometimes it's
yeah.
even more fun.
Thank you
than
for your
this.
insight into the medical side. It was that was really good.
We could do a whole show on that.
We could.
Yeah.
We
A lot of
appreciate-
good questions
We
could
appreciate
come
you
in.
being here, and
My
Bruce, thank
pleasure.
you.
You're welcome.
Jane, thanks for being here.
Fun.
Congratulations to the Yankees and to the Houston Astros, who will compete for the American title. And congratulations to the Washington Nationals and the St. Louis Cardinals.
Good.
who
Yeah,
will,
Braves could have been an air ball.
And the Braves only played eight,
yeah, the Braves
eight
were
innings the other day.
The Braves are 11 air balls.
Oh, that was
Anyway.
pathetic.
Gee.
Thank you all. We're gonna be back here after a brief message with North Georgia Senior Living with Jesse Barton, Community Relations Director Cameron Hall in beautiful Ella J. Take us to break, Chris. Thank you.
In 1981, Reed Nicholson began selling tires out of an old barn in Mineral Bluff. Little did he know that he had just laid the groundwork for the most trusted names in automotive services in the Blue Ridge area. In 1997, Nicholson Tire Center became what it is today, holding the same values of faith, family, and great customer service. 2 locations to serve you, and the Blue Ridge location is currently expanding to offer fast service and the largest U-Haul provider in Georgia. Nicholson Tire Center, Blue Ridge, and Mineral Bluff.
Hi, I'm Rhonda the Mattress Lady, and this is my husband Gary, owners of Mattress Overstocked in Ella J next to Walmart. And we want to earn your business. From the time you walk in our door to the time we deliver your new mattress to your door, you will see the difference. Our selection and prices are the best in North Georgia, and customer service is our top priority. So y'all come on in and let us help you find the right mattress at the right price. That's Mattress Overstocked in Ella J next to Walmart.
North Georgia Diamond is your source for diamonds in North Georgia.
Circuit World, with multiple locations to serve you in Murphy and Franklin, North Carolina, Blairsville, Blue Ridge, and Ella J, Georgia. Locally owned and operated since 1985. Appliances, electronics, and furniture. Name brand products like LG, Samsung, Dell, Whirlpool, Ashley, Catnapper, and more. No credit check, only 10% down on furniture, and only $10 down on any new lease purchase. Mention FYN10 for your special deal today at Circuit World.
I'm Jeff Riblett, President of Asset Protection Group. As a certified financial planner and with 20 years experience, I've helped thousands of families and business owners create a tremendous amount of wealth. Fortunately, most of that wealth has been protected. Don't allow an unforeseen life event, such as a nursing home stay or the next market meltdown, destroy your family's wealth. Be smart. Call me. Let's determine how best to protect your assets and preserve your wealth.